Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday 26th, one day later from the Memorial Day holiday. Hurley Investments market view commentary. I'm going to apologize to you right out of the gates tonight. I am not 100% prepared because I need to say happy anniversary to Miss Andrea Hurley. 19 years. It's been a wedding anniversary for me today. So, needless to say, I spent a lot of the afternoon with my wife. Also had to go get a car register, go to my mechanic, and happy first hole-in-one after 22 years in golfing. 184 yards, playing 176, 8-iron, knocked it right in. So for whatever reason, today seems to be my day. I'm going to take it for all it's worth. All right. With that said, let's talk a little about our current stock market. So these are just thoughts in general, right? I'm surprised we didn't have a pullback once. Let's do it this way. Once we gained 50% of what we lost. So the adage that, hey, it stays in place from where we're at once we gain that 50% and go higher. We've never had that pullback. That is in place. Currently, it's in place. Nothing has changed there. Even though CNBC, even though I would have thought for sure it would have come back. Shocked that it didn't. Ridiculously shocked that it didn't. Currently, year to date, we have a market that's down what? 8.5%? 7.40%. So currently, we have a market down 7.4%. And that's the S&P 500. So pretty interesting. Pretty interesting because just like Maud said, actually Maud and Mary, you both just said the same thing. Maybe it's coming. It could be. We really don't know. Maybe it's around the corner. Maybe we're going to go down and test some lows on the W. But as I'm looking at everything, we'll see a slowdown probably around the 200 on our bullish Dow Jones Industrial Average. Still have plenty of room to run to the upside on our RSI. I think we look good, to be honest with you. Nothing there that I worry about. If we have to test something, probably coming back to test the 2100 or the 50-day at 22,955. If we take a look at the S&P 500, probably going to run into some resistance around, well, we're actually right there. It's pretty interesting. Going to run into some resistance where we're at right now at 299.98. Again, that is the 200-day. We might break above it tomorrow. We might come back down Thursday and Friday. room to run to the upside. Pretty interesting day, so to speak. And on the NASDAQ, we're well above the 200. I don't know where we'll go on the NASDAQ, to be 100% honest with you. But what I am going to say is overall, I'm going to say minus the people we put into Boeing stock, we've done pretty good. Pretty good meaning over the 750K, all profitable. Most of the 250 to 750, most are profitable year to date. And then we're only about half of the less than 250K are profitable. Now, it's pretty interesting because we looked at a guy's chart. You know, I'm profitable, I'm just sitting in an index. So let me make a comment. Index wait and see individuals are down at least 7.4%. I know some of the other ones, the Vanguard funds, are in that 9 to 10% down range. And if you add 57% more money to your portfolio, you damn well better be break even at this point. All I'm going to say about that. No comment. It's just all I'm going to say about that. If you've added 57% more money to your portfolio, you damn well better be at least break even at this point, or you're an idiot. That's all I'm going to say. So, what do you get if you are with Hurley Investments? And I'm going to go kind of some of the worst case scenario, right? Boeing over a 200% gain in shares because we cashed in the long puts and bought more shares, 100% paid for with the insurance. Now we do have a break even on the shares around break even around 162. So Disney, 20% more shares. Baidu has been a multi-year running, so to speak, 150% more shares. Under Armour over the last year, 100% more shares. Ford multi-year, but over 100% more shares. Apple, anywhere between 33% to, I think it's 70% more shares. We haven't done that on Visa. Facebook, 20% more shares. What am I missing out? Apple, Disney, Facebook. Well, Visa, actually, we haven't done very good on Visa at all, to be honest with you. I think Visa's only got to be about 10% more shares, and we book those. Trying to think of core positions right now. That's going to be about it. So I want to go back. I want to go back to 3 to 4 weeks ago. There is one individual that was a little frustrated on how bullish I was, how do I say this? How energetic I was with at that point, it was about a 20% down market. And the reason why is the count was down. Boeing sucks. Didn't understand bear puts. Cost of protection was extremely high, and fighting both fear and greed, right? So let me apologize to Mary, Maud, and Ida who are with us right now. There are times when the stock market takes a big old pair of brass balls, and I'm talking a huge pair of brass balls, and it's not for the faint of heart. The stock market, plain and simple, the stock market is not for everyone, and it is not easy. And that's why you guys have gone to the education. That's why you guys have gone through and said, hey, I don't want to be a victim. I don't want to sit and hold. And I'm going to be honest with you, Steve, Jeff, and I, we're not always right. I know some of you think Keith is sometimes called the little Jesus Christ, and he's not. He may seem like it because he's mostly right, but he's not. There will come a time when our stock market will not come back for a very, very long time. And it might be a decade. It might be like the Japanese markets for 3 or 4 decades. I understand that. But that time is not right now. That time is not today. And to put the pandemic into a perspective, let's see if I can get what I want to show you guys. Let's see if I have it. So if I'm going to put this into a perspective, I saw this over the weekend, and I'm going to be honest with you, it doesn't make it any easier when you have someone going through. Oh, that's not what I thought it was. Let me send this one more time. Again, I do apologize for not being 100% ready. I trying to spend my day as actual size. Trying to spend my day Being a good husband, dang it. That's what I'm trying to do. So, give me a quick second here. Hopefully we'll be there now. So if you put it into a bit of a perspective, this is the mortality rates for the flu season versus COVID-19. And you're going to find out that technically a lot more people have died from the flu. Now, this doesn't make me feel any better with having a little daughter that has been running this low-grade fever, and it just gets up to 101. We're like, all right, let's take her in. And you go and you find out, all right, well, it's just below it, so they won't even test her. It doesn't make me feel any better with having her be lethargic. It doesn't make me feel any better knowing that last week on Friday, we got notified that the 2 boys that my kids were swimming with are now COVID-19 positive. So not only was the dad that got it, but both of the boys that my kids were swimming with, today's Tuesday, so 12 days ago, have now tested positive for COVID-19. I like that Utah has, as of 3 weeks ago, only 45 deaths. I'm pretty sure we're up to like 90 now. That's doubled in a month. But as a pandemic compared to the N1H1 that Obama went through, I still feel like markets and people have overreacted. And one more time, this in no way makes me feel better. And I'm still obviously extremely worried about my daughter. I'm not panic stricken, and neither is my wife, but we are extremely worried. What I have liked most recently is only 19,790 cases, 9,180. So the good news is we are doing that plateauing right now. Again, if you take a look at the chart for daily new cases, spike down, up, lower lows. This seems to be our main spike, but lower highs, we did not come to a lower low. Lower highs, a lower low, lower highs, we did not come to a lower low, and then we have higher highs. Still not down to a lower low. What I do like about this chart is it seems like we are plateauing. So the chart I drew where we had 8 weeks going like this, the data's changed. We might go through 12 weeks where we're going to run into until we're going to see things get lower. If we do our math, 12 weeks, June, July, August, we might have our plateaus or our lows, you know, in that 4,000 to 5,000, September-ish, and we might run into a new strain or a second time around as kids get back to school. But I feel more comfortable with us here than I do up here. And a lot's going to tell us in the next 4 weeks as people get back to work. As people get back to work, I somewhat count I somewhat would expect us, I guess what I'm trying to say, is back in that 25 to 30,000 for a while, but I am looking to see us plateau. Now, two great comments came in, and let me go ahead and acknowledge both of those comments. I suspect some of the flu deaths from last year and the beginning of this year were actually COVID deaths that didn't get counted as COVID. I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. I'm also going to suggest or make the suggestion, because there are some hospitals that, how would I say it? That there are some places that are not counting it correctly, that I would go so far as to say there are probably some deaths from old age, from stabbings, from gun shootings, and from car accidents that also got counted as COVID that are probably not COVID related. And I think it goes back to what, 123 people that were, what was it, 123 people that were listed as COVID-19, new patients coming in, and 23 deaths when no one else died or got anything else that night at the hospital, where I'm just going to say I think to a certain degree it'll balance itself out. And in no way am I saying that all these numbers are accurate. I don't have a way to verify them. All I am going to say is that it seems like we've gone a little over the top, which means in some positions, well, actually, which means as we go through this week in economic reports, today we had our FHFA housing price index. We had the S&P Case-Shiller. We had new home sales, and we had consumer confidence. Pretty neat. Gonna sneeze here. Didn't come through. The FHA housing price index expected an increase of 0.8, came in at 0.1. The Case-Shiller came in at a 3.9% increase versus a 3.8, beat to the upside by 0.1%. New home sales came in at 623,000 instead of 485. And consumer confidence came in at 86.6 versus an 88.5. So not bad. Just something to keep in mind. Tomorrow we have that was today. Sorry. Cut, paste. Tomorrow we have the Fed Beige book, where we should hear that they're going to do a lot more. Thursday is a huge day. Thursday, we're going to have initial continuing. We have durable goods. We have durable X transportation, I believe is what we call it. It is. We have GDP. We have GDP deflator. And we also have pending home sales. So if I was to ask this group, we're going to beat on our GDP that's supposed to be down a negative 4.8%, or are we going to be worse? We're going to beat a negative GDP of 4.8%, or are we going to be worse? We have a probably worse, 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 worse. Probably worse, 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 worse. So we have 4 of you that typed in probably worse. I would expect it as well, which means we might see a one-day bounce above the S&P. It could happen tomorrow, but I don't think we're holding it on Thursday. Wouldn't surprise me if we bounce lower. On Friday, I don't think we look much better. Friday, we're going to have personal income, personal spending. Both those are probably going to suck rocks. PEC prices, core PEC, PCE, excuse me, come on. And Chicago, PMI, Michigan sentiment. So in all honesty, personal income and personal spending, with it also being the last day of the week, last day of the month, probably have a couple sell-offs Thursday and Friday. So if we're going to have a couple sell-offs Thursday or Friday, most likely, as I was looking through some positions, Facebook has had a run, and kind of sad to see it come down today. But the short answer is, for a couple of you, don't worry, not everyone got in at 131. The true cost basis is closer to $7. But when you have 100% plus return, about 150, probably time to pull the trigger and take some profits. 2286, sitting at 49. Probably a good time for 21 contracts there to pull the trigger and to take some profits. 2554 to 4667. Probably a good time to pull the trigger and take some profits. 250s, $20.43, up 75%. Probably a good time to pull the trigger and take some profits. We have a couple that just got in. Those will stay where they're at. Covered call, we don't have to worry about those. Those will get called away. Some call verticals. You have till January 21, so you can stay in both of those. But you spent $16 to make 40 on this one. To get out with $5 of profit, that's a 20% return on investment. Here you spent $4.86. You're up $7.80 over basically $3. Here you're up basically 75% return on risk, maybe about 70 actually. There are a couple areas that I'm looking to be able to take some profits from, and Facebook's going to be one of them. The short answer with what I see this week, there comes a time during uncertainty to take the profits. And what if I'm wrong? What if I'm wrong during this period of time? What's going to happen? And if you might be wrong, because it can keep going up, right? Get back in farther out in time using the market's money, or being in a risk-free trade because you are using 100% profits from a previous trade, protecting your initial investment. I could be wrong, but if Facebook's down tomorrow, I'm going to take some profits. I'm going to take some profits on Facebook. Looking to get in maybe the beginning of next week. Maybe dipping my toe in the end of Friday as we come to the end of a month and where people usually sell off. You'll notice in here, I kept my May. I thought May was going to be up 2%. If I'm going to change that to June, I'm probably going to go with June being flat. Was I right about May? No, don't think so. In fact, as I go on the S&P and look at May, in there at that 2804 range up to 2991. So what, 5% almost? 2804 minus 2991 is equal to 87 divided by 2804. 6.66% up. We might lose a couple percent, another 3 or 4% on Thursday, Friday. So I might be right, but we'll see. We'll see. It'll be an interesting one to find out. With that said, we do have the sell in May go away crowd, so I don't know. I don't know. I'm more looking to just weather the storm, which means if I'm looking for how I'm going to trade, letting some things run, taking profits on Facebook, and if I had it my way, short-term covered calls on stock positions for June. And then get ready for July earnings coming up again, right? That's the way I'd be looking to trade. I have some interesting articles that I will put in. Some articles that I found that I just kind of put in here through the week. Where was my first one? I thought was COVID Boeing flu. Oh, that's the image I just showed you. Never mind. We can delete that one. I couldn't find it. An interesting article that most people that are staying home are also now getting the COVID. So just an idea, just because you're staying home or you think you're staying home, or most of you are staying home, but you have someone that is working, it might be an interesting article to read. So for that reason, I put this one in here. Very interesting article. I have not gone through. I normally go through and I try to fact check what I put in here. I have not done that, but please enjoy that article. I have an article, flying during the pandemic. I'm trying to get back east. I'm not uncomfortable with flying. I'm not necessarily uncomfortable with being in a confined area. There's nothing that a face mask that's not an NV95 will do for you. So I think it's a bunch of crap that that a face mask is there. I kind of believe that it's there to help you not touch your face, right? Which would be obviously helpful. I am kind of excited for going into, I really am looking forward to going into Costco, where they require you to have a face mask. And I kind of want to go in without one to start off. And when they say, hey, you need a face mask, I just kind of want to giggle. And I want to say, well, most of the time when you're carrying a gun, people don't want you to carry or have a face mask on, right? But that probably is not the smartest thing to do. And as bad as I want to do it, probably going to hold off on that one. My wife would kill me if she got caught. Yeah. And Mary's saying you're an idiot if you do that. But it would be kind of funny. There's a comment here, and it wouldn't surprise me to see Trump go back on it. Trump says he won't close the economy if there's a second wave of corona. In all honesty, I don't think he has a choice. I think if anything, it'll be the state governors that will do it. To the best of my knowledge, really, Trump has not closed down anything. He has restricted, as we have restrictions right now going back and forth from Brazil, he has restricted travel. But let's face it, I'm pretty sure for all intents and purposes, Trump really hasn't shut down. You know what? I better not say that. There are some federal agencies that are shut down, so I shouldn't say that. Got to fact check myself, right? And the last one that I had here that I thought was be interesting is our biggest thing we need to look for. U.S. and China tensions are flaring up. The excuse might be Hong Kong and some of the new rules that China's putting on their own providence, which to a certain degree, because they're not violating human rights, probably the world should butt out of it. It is their providence. They have the right to run it how they see fit. So with that said, I think that'll be the flare up that you're going to see things get to be they can be a pretty big problem coming up here in the near future between the US and China, especially if we go ahead and hit sanctions, which is what Trump likes to do. I will put in the earnings, but really for this week for earnings, Costco on Thursday and Ulta on Thursday is the big one. We have AutoZone that we've had today. Tomorrow, Autodesk, Hewlett Packard, NTAP, Toll Brothers. I put BMO on here. Thursday, Abercrombie & Fitch, Burlington, Dollar General, Dollar Tree, Lumber Liquidators, Dell, Marvel, Nordstrom's, VMW, Waste Management, right? Costco and Ulta on Thursday, and on Friday, Big Lots and Danesco. So not a whole lot happening by way of earnings. And I would go as far to say that in my little brief, I didn't see anything this week that had me worried for the international area. Let's see if I missed something. A speech, UCB Lane's speech, Lagarde speeches, business climate, Euro CPI, not much there. Japan's ex-fresh food, woohoo. Japan's industrial production on Thursday, not much. I think our biggest issue really comes down to Friday being the end of a month will be the biggest news that we have coming up. Any questions you guys have that I can answer for you? We do have, you know what I do like? We have a heck of a long way to come back on Disney. If you're to ask me some things that I really like, we picked up more shares on Disney, about 10 to 20% more shares for most people. Disney's above 120. 155 is where we're coming back to. Visa 228 is where we should be coming back to. I really like where Visa can get to, sitting at 193.22. Boeing, I'll be honest with you on Boeing. Not bad. Well, Boeing I think can at least be to 200. Bank of America back up to 34.50, sitting at 24.28. We could have a serious run on Boeing. Look to have some leaps get put in, even though they're a little bit early. Usually the Boeing run comes August, September till the end of the year. Might be a good time to do some leaps on Bank of America for a trade. But 34.50, the high is there. Ford back up to $10. We've doubled share count there. Facebook's at its highs. General Electric isn't going to get there. I wouldn't think so. Under Armour. If you want to look at something at Under Armour, at least back to 20. The highs are at 28.50, but at least a run back up to 20 for Under Armour, I think, is in the cards. So we have a huge amount of upside opportunity that will be interesting to see. All right, questions. Please give your outlook on Chinese Storex going to be affected by the criticisms COVID-19. I don't know how to answer your question, Ida. So send it to me again. Let's see if I can do a better job of giving you an answer to your question. Mary, thank you very much. I appreciate your comment. Kevin, good job adding shares for us, and it's all going to pay off in the end. I agree 100%. I really just don't see the opportunity to sit back and let the market do stuff to you. I think it's much better to be able to do something to help yourself on the way down. So yes, the short answer is yes, and thank you, Mary. Any other questions I can answer for you guys? If there are not, I appreciate you being here today. As a preview, a bull call or a leap call is probably warranted on Bank of America. If I wanted to do 10 contracts, I'd probably start off with 4. It'll most likely be tomorrow night's trade, but I'll go through what I see. I'll bring out an 8-year chart on them, and we'll go from there. I don't see any more questions coming in. Guys, have a wonderful evening. I appreciate you being here tonight. This will probably not be posted until tomorrow morning. I apologize. I'm going to go continue to spend the evening with my beautiful wife. No other questions. I'm trying to delay in case any other questions come in. I don't see any other questions. Guys, have a wonderful evening. Pleasure being with you tonight. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow night. And until then, stay safe, everyone. Bye-bye.